Welcome back to Magic the Brothering. I'm James.
And I am Josh.
We are back with another episode. Hooray!
Wow, I didn't think we would actually make another episode.
Well, duh. That's what we gotta do, Josh.
Yeah.
We just gotta keep making content.
Gotta keep it up.
So, second episode. We actually had this episode brought up because of Josh's most recent adventures in F&M. So, if you would like to start, Josh.
Yeah, this past Friday, I managed to somehow dirtle my way with Burn to a second place finish. I'm not gonna lie, it's a casual type of F&M because we're all not the hyper super competitive people at this shop, which is one of like 10 million reasons why I love going to this shop. By the way, it's the Game Hub in Hagerstown, like we have mentioned before. We're gonna keep mentioning that shop a lot because we love the Game Hub, don't we?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I managed to basically dirt my way with Burn into a second place finish. But the way I got there in the last round was my favorite, I would say, because it was a deck I hadn't gone against. Well, I mean, that night was a lot of decks I haven't gone against. First one was Boros Burn, and then the weirdest deck I've seen to date. I went against a blue-white shell with Mill thanks to Sphinx's tutelage. And he also happened to have Isochron Scepter, and he would always imprint Holy Day.
Ouch.
Yeah, so basically...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you mill, and you can't burn people. You can still punch, which can get you there if you're playing a creature-heavy deck, but no. I was playing burn. I almost got there, but he would always find a way to mill me. Because Sphinx.
And Mill.
And mill.
Yay, Mill. Sorry.
Of course you would say that.
Yes, I have to. It's in my blood.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That'd be very toxic blood.
I would just be dead. Just...
So, I went against Boros Burn, Sphinx's control, a weird green-black mid-range deck. That deck was interesting. I was able to beat it. It was green-black Vraska, which is a weird deck, but it's cool at the same time, because if you don't deal with Vraska, and you have no way to deal with those tokens, they will get you.
Sneaky, sneaky, stabby, stabby.
So, that was the third matchup. Final matchup, Bant Eldrazi.
Yay.
Bant Eldrazi, because if you say it fast enough, Bant.
Well, it also depends.
Bant.
It also depends on enunciation too. So
Bant. This is me saying Bant. I don't pronounce my T's very harsh, so Bant.
Again, enunciation.
Bant.
Bant. Anyways,
so Bant Eldrazi, last matchup. The guy was 3-0, I was 2-1, and first game, I managed to squeak it out, and I was able to win the entire game between he and I. I was able to get there, and we only had to go to 2 games, but this brought on the following question to ourselves, because it was kind of a good discussion, and we figured to share it with you all, which is, what is the worst punt you have ever seen during a game? And we're also going to pose the question to ourselves as well, and maybe a discussion in the chat for a comment section, either on Facebook or YouTube, because we actually have a Facebook also.
Yay, Facebook.
Yeah, www.facebook.com/magicthebrothering, or if you want to just tag us in something on Facebook, and eventually Twitter, this will be actually a pretty good one too to get us at MTG Bros. So, worst punch we've ever seen. This is where the Bant Eldrazi matchup comes back into play. First game, I'm at 8 life after he hits me with some creatures, and he's at 2 life after fetching. And he blew up one of my creatures. Well, he didn't blow it up, he exiled it, so I had no way to block. He had a Thought-Knot Seer, Eldrazi Displacer, and the blue-white flying Eldrazi.
I know which one you're talking about.
Q image. And so, he had, I believe, Xaxes on board to hit me for the kill. Thing was, he had main turn, pathed my creature, which was a blocking creature. And then the following happened. It was while I was searching for my land, because I was debating on whether to go for it or not, and as I was going for it, he then said, second main phase, Ancient Stirrings. His creatures were still untapped, and he said second main phase. I didn't say anything at the time. I wanted to see if he had paid attention to it. So, I let him do the Ancient Stirrings, because what am I going to do? I'm a burn player. I don't got counterspells.
What's a counterspell in burn?
So, he goes second main phase Ancient Stirrings. His creatures are still untapped. And I'm thinking, he either expects something bad of me, or he just forgot. I'm gonna see what happens. Agent Stearns resolves, he gets his thing. I don't really remember the thing because I was more concerned about the fact of what he had just said. So then, after he gets all that done, he then says, move to combat? And I then pointed out to him, you declared second main phase. He just looked at me and he looked at his board and he's like, I fucked up on that one. I'm like, yeah, I normally don't care about shit like this, but at the same time I do care. Because you have to care. A little bit.
Just that little tiny percentage. If you know you are doing decently well and actually can place, try and still have some part of a competitive edge to it. That way you make sure you can at least save your ass in a situation like this one.
Yeah, this is how I normally play. I just play to have fun, but if I have a chance of winning something...
That's when shit goes into overdrive.
Yeah, that's when shit goes real for me. It goes from 0 to real. And then second game, I wouldn't really consider this a punt. As much as
Wait, was that punt in the first game?
Punt first game.
Wow.
So second game, I wouldn't really consider it a second punt, but at the same time, it was just...
A minor misplay?
No, there's a certain point, as all of us Magic players know, where mulligans... You just get to a point where you just give up on mulligans and keep the hand you have.
Just real quick.
Okay.
On the mulligan thing, then I'll let you get back to this. On the mulligan thing, I was playing Red Green Tron at the same shop. I was going against Nahiri combo.
Okay.
Because there was the guy that normally played that for the longest time. He mulliganed to 3.
What did he keep?
I can't remember, but he had to mulligan to 3. He had said if he had to go one more time, he was gonna concede that match.
Was that second game or third game?
That was first match.
Why would you was he doing bad that night?
No.
Then why would he concede?
He was considering it if he had to mull a 2.
Wow.
Yeah, he just was not getting what he needed.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Josh.
Yeah, it's okay. So, second game of my Bant Eldrazi v Burn matchup. He had to go to 5, and it was a 1-land hand. And, unfortunately for me, he also had a leyline out, so I literally was punching with Swift Spears and Goblin Guides, and then I was able to resolve an Eidolon, and that kind of set a bar for myself. But, you know, you tend to do these things.
Win in any way you can.
To quote a Mr. Bobby, greatness at any cost. So that was the worst punt I've ever seen. So James, what's the worst one you've ever seen or made? Doesn't matter for which one goes first.
I'm going to go with made just because this was from SCG Baltimore. I had 3 different instances on where I messed up royally. So with all these matches at SCG Baltimore, the first match I punted on, it was the Abzan Vizier combo with, Walking Ballista, Vizier Remedies, and Devoted Druid. My problem I had was, this was also when I played Free Win, I can never say this consistently enough. Free Win Red. There we go. And second match, sideboarded in Pithing Needle. Drew Pithing Needle. Decided to name a card. Stupidly enough, he had just drew Vizier of Remedies. I named Vizier of Remedies, even though he already had Devoted Druid out. And so, yay, passive abilities and not activated abilities. So, that was my bad punt. I could have actually won that, because I had a pretty steady lock on him, too.
Wouldn't Pithing Needle not work with Devoted Druid?
No, Devoted Druid is because tap, add a mana, put a neg1 counter on Devoted Druid, untap Devoted Druid. So, yeah.
Okay, but would it not work with Pithing Needle?
No, my problem was, I named Vizier of Remedies.
I know, but if you had named Devoted Druid, it still wouldn't have worked, though, wouldn't it?
It's a tap ability. It still technically counts as an activated ability. So, he wouldn't have been able to tap it to activate for mana.
Okay, but anyway, so what was the worst one out of the day? That one sounds pretty bad, but what's the absolute worst of the 3?
Let's see, there's that one. The next worst, oh boy.
The mirror matchup where you were watching paint dry?
That was the worst. Okay, second match. Lost first match, went to second.
To preface, he was playing Free Win Red. He went against Boros Win Red.
Like I said, all these matches took place at SCG Baltimore. This was a very big learning experience. I'm glad I won. Anyways, so, opponent had a leyline out, turn 0. So basically, the whole thing with leyline, so I'm not going to say shit. I had Pithing Needle naming Nahiri. Nahiri was just basically dead meat.
Just kind of sitting there like, hey.
Hey, yo, what up? Anyways, she had, I believe...
Wait. Not to go stereotypical for a moment, but what?
Yeah, My opponent was a female.
No, I was there. I'm just saying in the fact
Yeah,
of,
I know. You watched this bad punt, too.
No, I know. That's why I'm not saying shit. It's just the fact of preface of opponent.
Anyways,
Nahiri is sitting on board because Needle.
I believe my opponent had a... Let's see. I believe I had Chalice. I believe she also had a Chalice.
So, paint drying.
Yeah, uber paint drying.
Didn't you have a Chandra on board?
Yeah, this was my punt. Because of Leyline, I was worried about the fact of Chandra first +1 ability. Draw a card from top of deck, exile it. You can play the exile card if you decide not to, and leave it exile. 2 to each opponent. Keyword, each, not targeting. So my problem was, I was an idiot, and was just like, oh hey, I'm just gonna use the other +1 ability, and just make mana. So,
I
was
kind of helped you in some of your instances, but at the same time...
Yeah, after a while, and I lost big time because of this. Her, I believe it was boyfriend or husband, she was a part of a group that had traveled down from Buffalo. And...
Very nice people.
Oh yeah, they were really nice to talk to afterwards. He had said, hey bud, you want to look over that top ability again? Because he had seen all this coming over. And...
I had even seen it, and I'm just kind of sitting here like... I can't help him because outside help will get me disqualified.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like,
James, you're a fucking monk. James, you fucked up big time. So yeah, that's the biggest punt I made. And Josh was saying that in the sense of the matter of voicing opinion just because he's faced me. He's had a Leyline out against me playing that deck. And we even Googled it like months before.
Yeah.
So that's how he knew, and that's why he was saying in the back of his mind, while watching me do this, he was just like, you fucked up. Yeah. So, yeah. Also, at the same time, though, playing Magic for like 6-7 hours on like...
2 hours sleep.
Not even that. I got like 5 hours, but still.
Yeah. I mean, I know there was some people that were literally surviving off of coffee and Red Bull.
Those people from Buffalo. They just drove, 8 hours.
God bless those people.
Yeah.
For the love of magic.
Yeah, I believe one of them, because I believe, I'm just going off of a hunch, I believe they all played the same deck because...
It is a good deck.
Yeah, it's Boros Prison, of course. But that did make the top 20-something of the event.
Q image.
I'll have to double check, but I know Boros Prison did make top 30-something.
That's cool.
And I believe the third punt I had, it was a minor one, but I was playing against Ad Nauseum. And I had in hand 1 Chalice, I believe. What I should have done was Chaliced on 0. What I did was I Chaliced on 1. Which does fuck over some stuff in his deck, but Chalice on 0 would have fucked over his mana producers. Yeah. So that was just a little minor thing that I had noticed. Josh, what were the worst punts you had made?
Worst punts I've made? I can think of one. The second to last time I've been to the Game Hub in about a month. Because I very rarely go because of my schedule at work. But it was Nahiri control.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, I managed to fuck up the following. Because he was able to get Nahiri to ultimate. He went to go search for Emrakul Aeon's Torn. I haven't seen or played against an Emrakul Aeon's Torn, I'm not gonna lie, in about 2 years. And so I forgot about card text. So he goes and gets the Emrakul out. I'm excited because I had a Path to Exile in hand. And I'm just like, it took me a moment. Realized what I had done. Long story short, I couldn't Path Emrakul. So that's the worst punt I've made in recent memory. I have made plenty of little punts, but that was like the biggest one. I mean, I lost the entire round, so it didn't matter all that much. It's just one of those things that I gotta remember. Because, like I said, I hadn't played against that card in 2 years. You kind of forget stuff after a while. James, what would you say is the worst punt you've ever seen?
I haven't seen punts. See, that's the problem with me. Whenever I play Magic, usually most of my matches go a pretty decent amount of time. So I can't watch anyone really play Magic. Either that or I just mind my own business off in the corner and do fuck all.
Here's a better one. What's the worst one you've seen either viewing Magic on YouTube or streams?
I'm not gonna go with the one that was most recently made. That guy has been through too much shit already.
No, side note on that. Everyone that is giving that guy shit for the misplay, you tried being up for like how many hours straight playing Magic and having to be there dog-ass early in the morning. Pros need sleep too.
I mean, emotions run high.
It is a very emotional game.
While logic dictates, pay attention to how everything's going, the fact of the matter that you can possibly have the win in top 8 professional Magic tournament, which you've worked for years, and even against a professional themselves, that shit gets to you. And the fact of the matter that what happened, it's just the life of the game. So
yeah, it's one of those things where we're all human. It's just a game. It's luck based. It's skill based. And in this case, there was a bit of luck, a bit of skill, and a bit of the mind going. So yeah, that's all we have to say about that. At least I don't know.
That's it. Anyways,
worst one you've seen online. Let's go with that. I can actually name another one. I actually remember this from the Magic Man Sam video on Pithing Needle.
Mm-hmm.
Seth, we love you, but that time that you named Pithing Needle with Pithing Needle on Mitgo, I'm sorry, buddy, but that was funny.
Wait. Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
I forgot about that!
Yeah, that was a good one.
What happens in that situation?
It doesn't do anything.
It just pretty much just null and voids itself.
Good job.
It just sits there like the hockey puck of disappointment. I just thought of something now that you had mentioned that.
Yo.
It's not any punting or anything like that. I just remember the silly ruling about Oblivion Ring.
Oh yeah, the trifecta of Oblivion Ring. If there's no other permanents on the field and there's only 3 Oblivion Rings.
Infinite loop and you just draw.
Yeah, that's a fun little thing that I remember learning from the rulings.
Yeah, it was one of the funniest rulings I'd seen in a long time. So, yeah, just figured to throw that out there. The more you know.
So, that's the worst punts we've seen and or made.
Sorry, I haven't seen anything. Next subject.
Another little subject that we've been talking about, because this is yet another thing that I wound up having in that same night with the Bant Eldrazi match, was there was a couple of guys, we were all sitting at the same table, we were all playing our games and sitting around, we were all just talking about Magic card sleeves. Because there was a guy that was using glossy Dragon Shield sleeves, there was a guy using Ultra Pro sleeves, the Eclipse sleeves. There was glossy Dragon Shield, Ultra Pro Eclipse, a couple of matte Dragon Shields, and then someone I believe was using Legion sleeves. Both Ultra Pro guy and the glossy Dragon Shield guy both said that they would go to matte Dragon Shields because majority of all sleeves are pretty good now. But they just like the matte Dragon Shield sleeves, and also the fact of the shop, the Game Hub really, really likes Dragon Shield sleeves.
They do have some Ultra Pro sleeves there.
Yes.
And some KMC sleeves.
KMC has taken the piss lately in
I know.
terms of quality.
I remember when we first started getting into Magic, KMCs were highly regarded next to Dragon Shields in terms of their durability and their shuffle feel. Now it's just...
Yeah.
Shuffle feel is still there, but quality and stuff is...
Quality has gone to poo-poo. So, yeah, thanks, Professor. I'm surprised we remember half of this shit from his videos, but thank you, Professor, from Tolarian Community College, for all of your insight into card sleeves, because you have informed many a buyer into getting the right sleeve for the right deck. And I can happily say that all of my decks are sleeved in Dragon Shield sleeves, the matte ones. My Modern and Legacy and other decks are normally sleeved up in green. My Commander decks kind of goes by what color they are. My Goblins deck is in red matte sleeves. My Bruna deck is in petrol sleeves, believe it or not. Those are actually a pretty cool bluish green color.
Sort of like turquoise, but a little darker.
Yeah, very dark. And then my Queen Marchesa deck is in black sleeves. And then Krenko is in a black sleeve, and Marchesa is in a red sleeve. And then Bruna is in a white sleeve.
All of my decks, I used the Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves, the red ones, because free when red, bright red sleeves, because they were about the right shade of red. That's my favorite shade, which is Pyrrole? Pyrrole? I forget how you pronounce it. It's the double R's that get me. Anyways, yeah, just flavor. Just all the flavor.
I mean, it worked.
Those sleeves treated me well. The only thing I have to say about them, they are durable. I sort of wish they had about the same back matte texture as Dragon Shield sleeves. But, because tomato comparisons, and the only thing I have to say is, after a bit of using those Ultra Pro Eclipses, they did get sticky a little bit.
But
and
is it, sorry to cut you off, but
it wasn't as bad as the original glossy Dragon Shields, because I used a set of those or two, and those got sticky really badly. Even with having a fucking silica packet in your deck box and stuff like that, just wear and tear is just, they just got sticky.
And
even with
friction also doesn't help.
Even with using a play mat and everything like that. So I have to say, Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves, really good sleeves. It's just, I really, really enjoy matte Dragon Shield sleeve shuffle feel so much better. And
what color do you use for matte Dragon Shields, by the way?
Ivory. That's my fave.
Yeah.
I used to have my red-green Tron deck in the annoying bright green Ultra Pro matte sleeves.
The old-ass ones that you can just tear like tissue.
Yeah, I enjoyed how the deck looked in those sleeves just because of the Keller popping. But
think about that for a second. He put Tron in old Ultra Pro sleeves.
No regrets. Anyways, then when the Candy Apple Green matte Dragon Shields came out, I put Tron in those. And then I went ham on Ivory sleeves. So all of my decks now, modern decks, are in Ivories. My Commander decks, let's see here. The Brago deck is in silver, glossy, Dragon Shields. Need to switch those out. My Skithrix deck is in black, matte, Dragon Shields. My Yidris deck is in ivory, matte, Dragon Shields. And Jazal is in ivory matte, Dragon Shields.
So, and we also had a joke just because I was asking in a very sarcastic tone about his choice of color for Dragon Shields. Because when he first found the ivory color, he bought like 7 boxes.
Yeah, I sort of had a thing for them.
You had an affinity for the color.
Hey!
Roast me. I don't care. So, he basically bought enough to basically wallpaper a small room. Not the recording room we're in, James, but maybe a closet, I would say. Yeah, you had a problem there for a little bit, buddy.
I know, but they're so worth it. I love the Keller. Also,
oh yeah, it's a good Keller, I'm not gonna lie.
Also, funny thing, my opponent with Boros Prison had the same Keller.
They also had red Eclipse sleeves, or they had ivory?
They had ivory. Because at SCG Baltimore, the night before, I switched out red, free win red to matte ivories just because I enjoyed the shuffle feel and I didn't want to have my cards slip and go everywhere. So I was like, okay, I'm going to switch out the sleeves and go from there. Got to Boros Prison matchup. Ivory Dragon Shields. It was just like, well then, let's just make sure that we don't confuse each other's decks, shall we? It's like, yeah, sure.
Wait, I thought you said you would use the red Eclipse sleeves at Baltimore.
No, Josh, you should remember this. I told you I'd made this decision.
No, but earlier in the recording you just said that.
No.
Yeah, you did.
When I had initially made the deck, I wanted the deck to be in those bright red Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves.
And you did have it in there for a while.
For a while. I used it for like 2 months. But, like I said, the shuffle feel sort of got sticky, and I didn't really like how the backs of the sleeves felt. Like, I enjoy the sleeves. They're really nice sleeves. It's just I myself feel that they're sort of akin to the Dex Protection sleeve. They had that sort of half glossy, half matte feel.
I would say it's more comparable to Hareruya sleeves. Those are actually pretty good little sleeves.
They are. Like I had said, the Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves sort of had that feel, that half matte, half glass. Yeah.
Half matte, half glossy.
So that was what sort of deterred me from that, because I just love the stippled back of the Dragon Shields. The night before SCG Baltimore, I had switched.
Okay. So we want to know, what are the worst punts you've ever seen? What are the worst punts you've ever made? And what are your favorite sleeves? We want to know. So hit us up either in the comment section, message us on Facebook, or send us an email. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah. The email is magicthebrothering@gmail.com.
If you so choose to want to talk to us through that, through other various sources. I mean, we're going to start trying to get some gameplay footage up here soon. Maybe get another couple of episodes in and go from there. Until next time, this has been Magic the Brothering. I'm Josh.
I'm James.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.